Okay, so this is the portion, or this is a whole separate video where we'll be talking spoilers on the Lighthouse and probably Jojo Rabbit. So first off, the Lighthouse. Was there anything? Did you want to talk about the Prometheus idea?
So yeah, I guess just
I guess maybe we should recap the movie.
yeah. So two guys. Well, there's obviously one guy who's been to this lighthouse. I'm assuming, right? This he came as well, right? Or has he been here? Did he came on a boat?
To be honest, I never figured that out because he's at least been there before.
Right.
Like, that is his job. It is his lighthouse. I don't know if he left or came back.
Yeah, it seemed like he came back with him, and then he was also leaving in 4 weeks. That's what the idea was. They were going to be there together for 4 weeks, and they were both leaving. So while they're together, they kind of clash a little bit. Willem Dafoe is very demanding of work. But he runs the lighthouse, so he goes up and runs the actual light, and it's obvious that Robert Pattinson's character would like to at some point work with the light, but Willem Dafoe's very defensive about it and is just like, no, you need to do your chores, and it pretty much seems like Robert Pattinson does all the heavy lifting of everything, literally the heavy lifting. And it grows some frustrations, I think, between Robert Pattinson's character and Willem Dafoe. And then at some point, the ship's supposed to come by. It doesn't come. Then it creates a lot more anger and frustration between them. And then there's this other plot going on where Robert Pattinson sees mermaids.
Or sirens.
And sirens. That's and just mythical creatures and stuff. And then he has this weird feeling about the lighthouse. Just what's up there? What's going on? Why does he care about it so much?
He keeps thinking he's seeing something up there,
Yeah, he sees, and then at some point, Robert Pattinson becomes almost violent. He takes a knife and he considers killing Willem Dafoe's character a little bit, and Willem Dafoe wakes up, so it's it's already becoming this cat and mouse game of is someone gonna kill the other person, I'm not sure, but then when they drink, they're merry and happy and super buddy, and they get really close, and they become a lot more intimate about their feelings, and and then things come out the characters' names, and oh, why don't you let me run the lighthouse and such like that. Do you want to explain any of the plot at all that I've missed or that's
there's so much. I think Robert Pattinson's character either tries or considers killing Willem Dafoe's character a bunch of times.
Yeah, so there's even a
part where he's trying to bury him alive.
Yeah, that whole part was a little weird, because right before that, it's the scene where he punches him and falls on the ground, and then he gets on top of him and he sees him as a mermaid, and then he turns into a sea monster, and then and then it's he dominates him in some way, and I'm not even sure exactly how. But then he's telling him to bark like a dog, and puts him on a leash, and then
he just kind of beats the shit out of him.
Yeah, so I guess it's just literally him showing physical prowess over him.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
and he's obviously going crazy.
Yeah.
Because then again, I think it's the whole they leave it up to interpretation. Is he going crazy, or is there really something going on?
Right. Is there actually?
When he's beating the shit out of Willem Dafoe's character, there's these tentacles coming out and trying to choke him and shit, and
yeah.
But also this is something that I think I have to get a second watch just to understand more, is Robert Pattinson's real character, because throughout for the first part of the movie he goes by Winslow, and then you find out then he reveals that his real name is Thomas, and he killed somebody named Winslow.
He really, by I think neglect or naivety, he lets a coworker die, I think.
when he's logging up
when he was logging
the Northwest.
That's what I'm getting from that. And which is funny because Willem Dafoe's character figures it out really early on while they're drunk, and they don't bring it up again. He goes, oh yeah, his name was Winslow, and he goes, Winslow, yeah, Winslow, and that's the end of that. That was one of the first times they get drunk.
Oh, really?
It was really weird. They brought it up, and then they couldn't ignore it. And I go, wait, he's Winslow. And and then later on, he starts talking about Winslow and what happened to him. And I'm like, okay. But I think Willem Dafoe knew. So he was super wary of him after that point because he realized he was lying about his name.
You know that, and you know, Willem Dafoe's character's name is also Thomas. Do you know that this...
Yeah! That was what was weird to me, because I was like, wait, so is his name not Thomas, or is he just...
Yeah, his name was Thomas. This is actually loosely based on a real story of two Lighthouse wikis named Thomas, and one of them died. A real-life story, yeah.
And they're called Wookiees?
Wikis.
Like that's a wick. Right.
They would cut the wick of the light.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, of course, the whole other aspect... he added the Prometheus aspect. Obviously, that had nothing to do with the original story, but we hadn't gotten to that yet. So
yeah, but still, because Willem Dafoe's character at some point says something like, I think he's talking about the light, and he said something about being Promethean, and then so I held on to that for a little while, and later on, after they get into first he buries him alive. Then I'm like, I don't even know how he's dead, but he gets the key to go to the lighthouse, and Willem Dafoe comes at him with an axe. And he straight up gets him with it, but I think it's pretty obvious that Robert Pattinson's character is much stronger and more able-bodied than him, so he gets the axe and finishes off Willem Dafoe right there.
Well, right before that, there's one scene that I personally felt was bad, or at least maybe I don't understand it yet. Maybe I need to see it a second time. But right after he buries Willem Dafoe's character alive, even though he doesn't fully do it, obviously, he's already all the way up to the lighthouse, like all the way at the top, and he's about to open it. And then he goes back down. And I don't know what the point of that was. And that's when Willem Dafoe's character comes at him with the axe and says, the light is mine. What is it that he goes back down for? It's nothing that's really all that important. I can't, or at least what I think.
I do remember. That's right.
And I just thought it was kind of weird. Like, what was the point of him going up there, then deciding not to yet, and then going back up? Like, it was just kind of weird. What was it? He goes back down to get something.
Yeah.
Because he already has the keys. He pulled it off of Willem Dafoe.
He got it off Willem Dafoe.
Because that's like why he stopped sparing him alive. He's like, oh, well, there's the key. I'm going to go to the lighthouse, And he's going up there, and he's about there, and he's about to unlock it. But then he goes back down. And I can't remember what he is getting or not. It's just completely escaping my mind.
Me too. But I do remember while it was happening, I think I understood it then, but now I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, it does. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter too much. So we'll just go and move on.
Maybe we'll have to we'll have to pay attention to that when we rewatch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So he takes the axe and he murdered. I believe he finally murders Willem Dafoe.
Yeah. It seems like it's kind of off screen, but I think it's pretty. The camera might pan and show the body, but I don't remember. But I know that there's an obvious.
They make it kind of obvious the axe goes in his face, I think.
Yeah. He walks, and then he really just starts crawling.
Yeah, that's right. That was weird.
He just crawls. It's like he's out of energy, and he finally gets to the top of the lighthouse. This long walk up, and he opens it, and he's like just super like. First it's like he's overwhelmed with fear almost, and then his face becomes of like excitement and happiness and joy, and then he falls all the way down the lighthouse, like down the steps, and then the next scene is him like being eaten by seagulls.
Yeah, with like his intestines.
With his intestines out, and it reminded me of the story of Prometheus, who, I believe, stole the fire of the gods.
Yeah.
And Zeus, as punishment, subjected him to be eaten by birds, and he was given like immortality.
I don't remember which bird it was, but it's specific for
that's
like a
right.
crow or raven or something, and he eats his liver. He eats his liver every day, and his liver grows back.
Okay, it's even more specific than that. Oh God, yeah. So I'm getting from this that maybe this is like in a way, like a retelling of the Prometheus story.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure, because then if that's true, then I don't know exactly who Willem Dafoe's character is.
I did see that in an article. I didn't really read up on it, but his character is based on a god or titan in Greek mythology, I think.
Ooh.
Too. But I already forgot everything I read. So.
Yeah, I wish I knew it better. I just know the God of War retelling of this story.
Yeah.
And it's obviously not the same.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's supposed to be more allegorical than anything.
Sure.
Not saying that he's actually Prometheus or anything.
Right. So it's not, you don't think it's like kind of Mother, I think, was the other movie.
Oh, no.
Because Mother it's supposed to be like a 1-to-1, right? It's supposed to be, that's who it is, right?
Oh, I don't even know exactly what Mother is. We'll have to talk about that sometime.
Because if that's true, like, how does that relate to this?
Mother technically is nothing. I don't know how to explain it. It exists in its own bubble. Like,
sure,
it's not even a real story. It's literally an allegory in itself.
Right.
It's not like.
So you don't think this is the same then?
No. I mean, the ending kind of feels that way.
All right, fair enough. But the rest of the movie doesn't go, this is all a 1-to-1 metaphorical representation of Greek mythology.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
no.
It doesn't do that at all. No. So, yeah, I could see that. I don't know. Yeah, so I think there could be multiple things to be taken from it, and I definitely need to see it again to
I wonder how much
have a better opinion.
If the sexual stuff was supposed to like represent anything, or just
they're
the
definitely
fact that when you're stuck on an island with only another man, it just
Yeah, I'm sure that has, because that's true. Like, he has that mermaid statue that he's and
in one of his either his dreams or fantasies he fucks a mermaid.
Yeah, so it's obvious that there's some sexual frustration going on with these characters, and I can totally
also,
see.
Do they imply that they possibly fuck?
I don't know. It kind of looks like
there's parts where they're like snuggling and stuff, and because a lot of times, like they've said, like, pirates out on the sea, a lot of times they end up having sex with each other.
Right. It's possible. Again, that may be something I'd want to pay attention to if I rewatched, but I'm not sure. I know that it was almost it looked like it, but I don't know if that's trying to suggest they really did. Right. Yeah. So, I think when it comes to like the spoiler stuff, I think that's my biggest. Those are my thoughts on the Lighthouse.
All right. I can't really think of any spoilery type stuff about the Lighthouse that I wanted to talk about or anything. No, I don't think so. So we could probably go ahead and move on. Did you want to get into spoilers for Jojo Rabbit?
I guess. Yeah, there's just a few things I think I'd like to.
Okay, mention. I mean, we don't have to go on forever about spoilers. But
and I guess we can just go.
It's getting dark. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think a big part of the movie was immediately I noticed the camera would have this low angle, and it would look at the kid, and then the mother would walk into frame, and you'd only see her feet. And they did it like 2 or 3 times, and then they made it apparent what her shoes looked like.
Yeah.
That's
what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't just her feet, obviously, but it just meant it was her lower half of her body, and you could see her shoes, and it was obvious. So, but I noticed it, but I wasn't really consciously aware of that.
It's a phrase. You didn't notice, but your brain did.
Yeah. And so when the reveal came of when his mother is part of the resistance, I guess, she was caught, and so he's just kind of walking around, and this I think it was a really, what were you saying? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like a very like off guard moment. Like it's the moment is specifically take you off your guard, and like he's following a butterfly, and just this
so
nice
well
little moment.
It starts off almost like he walks out kind of sad, but as he's walking around talking to the people, he's almost gaining a sense of like, you know what,
there could be a happy ending to this story. You know, like,
this things could work out, you know. And he follows the butterfly, and he sits down, and it's this long moment where he's just sitting there, and the camera just slowly pans up, and you see her shoes on the feet of someone who's obviously been hung. And for a split second, my mind was like, I don't know why, my mind was like, whoa, so those shoes that we saw, I guess they put it on someone's, oh my god, no, yeah. Oh no, and it hit, because it caught me so off guard, it just, my heart sunk so, and that, it's just, I thought it was just so well done,
yeah,
getting you up to that scene, and then the next scene afterwards where he's just sitting there with his mom and just hugging her, and then he tries to tie her shoes because he can't.
Oh, because she's always tying his shoes.
She's always tied him, and she's like, almost like, look, I could do it, and then he still can't. Oh my god, what a heartbreaking fucking scene.
Yeah.
I thought, up until that point, it was like, this movie is a comedy. This movie is a little darker than I actually had thought. And I just thought it did a really good job on selling that whole part.
Yeah.
Do you have any more you want to add on that?
Just that, I think that's how you do a gut punch. Yeah. You know, you force somebody to let their guard down. Or I guess force is the wrong word, because that's the point. They're not being forced. You're letting them let their guard down.
Right.
And then when their guard is the most down, you just sucker punch them, and that's what that did at that part. But yeah, no, other than that, I don't have anything else on that. It's just done really well.
And then for me, the other thing that I want to talk about was at the very end, I realized what was going on, and even though I wasn't the biggest fan of Sam Rockwell's character, immediately when they grabbed Jojo, because he had the Nazi uniform, and put it with the other Nazis, and he was thrown in with Sam Rockwell, I was like, oh no, I know what's going on right now. And I think I could just figure it out, and I just immediately started getting emotional, even though I didn't have as much interest in Sam Rockwell's character as much as a human doing something like he did. Yeah. And it was just so, it was like, oh no, he's gonna pretend like Jojo is, not has nothing to do with them, and he's gonna scream at him, and he's gonna put him down, and it was just, and he's gonna be dragged off and killed right then. So it was that whole part is just, whoo, and he's just being dragged away, smiling, I was like, oof, ugh. And that got me again. It was like, damn, this movie.
Yeah.
So even though I wasn't the biggest fan of his character, I felt like his character had a really good arc, Yeah. So I'll give him that.
And I think they did do a good job with that, in the way that throughout the movie they kind of make him out to be this asshole. But they do kind of sprinkle it in throughout there that there is something a little bit more.
Oh, yeah. Like when he's with the... Oh, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say, like, when he asked... The kid keeps asking him, like, about Jews. And he's like, what about Jews? It almost seems like he doesn't really care. He doesn't hate Jews. If he found out about a Jew, he'd do his job and have them murdered. But, like, he doesn't have that.
Well, even then, I don't even know. Because when the girl... says that she's his sister.
Yeah.
And she says, this is my birthday. He goes, yep. And he puts it back. Like, he had every right and every choice to figure that out. But, granted, you could say that he was protecting Jojo at that point, I guess. Because that could hurt Jojo as well.
Yeah.
But I think it was more than that. I think, like you said, with the whole Jewish thing, I don't think he had this invested, like, hatred of Jews.
Yeah.
So I liked that. It was cool to figure out.
Yeah.
And it was obvious that he he was gay. So
oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
And Nazis are not fans of homosexuals either.
With what's his name? I'm trying to think of his
I
name.
know, who was it? Oh, I was gonna say Euron or Reek.
Oh, Reek.
Euron Greyjoy.
Oh yeah. Is that? Wait, no. Euron is his uncle.
That's right. What's he? He's.
Oh, what's his name? No, Alfie's his real name.
That's his real name. Okay.
Alfie Allen. His
Allen.
sister, Lily Allen. Who does
what?
Yeah. Oh, you didn't know that?
What?
Yeah.
Okay, that's news to me. Cool.
She actually wrote a song about him, calling him lazy and shit, and that's what actually got him to audition for Game of Thrones.
What the hell?
Yeah.
All right, that's funny.
Fuck, I can't think of his name.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. Yeah.
Like I liked his name.
Theon Greyjoy.
Theon, yeah.
That was what it was.
Yeah, that's right. There was they did imply that, didn't they?
Yes, because at some point they were like getting really close, and Jojo walks up, and they both look really like thrown off, like, oh hey, what's up? How you doing?
Yeah.
So it's obvious that I think there was some intimacy there.
Right. Yeah. So, did we have anything else we want to talk about?
No, I think those are the big moments I want to just bring up that I thought were good. And, and at the end of the movie, I think Mom was also a little bit. She's like, it's just felt so like, oh, everything's okay, everything's fine, you know.
Oh,
and I understood that too, but I think again,
it's
from the point of view of someone who went through that, that's just what you got to do. Yeah, that's how you have to view it.
For me, it's absurd. Like, that was the whole idea. War is absurd.
Okay.
And that's how it felt to me. Like,
I can accept that.
Like, there was no point. Like, you get to the end, you're like, what was the point of any of that? It was just over stupid.
Yeah.
I was about to use the R word, and I'm trying not to do that.
Yeah, good job. No, I agree. Yeah. So yeah, that concludes my thoughts, I think, on both of those.
All right.